Holiday centerpieces are always really fun to make yourself at home and to kind of decorate your home spaces and add wonderful scents to your home as well. And so I want to show you a really easy centerpiece that you can do with things that you can just buy from the grocery stores and using vessels that you might already have in your home. I just used, for me, I have this compote, and you don't have to use something as fancy. You could use something as simple as a glass dish, and then we can arrange the greens over it so you don't even really see it. But any sort of vessel. This one is kind of an oblong shape, but a round vessel would work as well. The first thing you need to determine is where's the arrangement going to go, and then select a vessel size that works great for that particular shape. If you use an oblong one, this would also be gorgeous on a mantle above a fireplace or an entry hall table, or it would be lovely on a rectangle dining room table. So the first thing I did was I have soaked some foam oasis with water, and the wonderful thing I love about this arrangement is that really will last a full month for you. If you put fresh flowers in it, you can just change the flowers out throughout the month, but the greens themselves staying in the oasis that you will keep water throughout the month, and you can mist them lightly several times a week. It'll keep them really fresh and vibrant in your home. And the great thing about using fresh greens is they smell wonderful. So the first thing I'm going to do is green the container first. And I am using 3 different kinds of greens. You can use clippings from your Christmas tree if you're one to get fresh Christmas trees, or for those of you that are here in Colorado for this holiday season, I love going to Tagawa's nursery in Parker, as they have a selection of wonderful greens that you can buy by the pound, and so you can get a variety of greens. So I have golden cedar, I have a little bit of princess pine, and then my favorite for accents is the berried juniper, which adds just a different sort of texture and depth to your arrangement. And for those of you that have pine on your property, feel free to cut the pine. I mean, that's what it's there for, and harvest your pine cones as well. So the first thing I'm doing, like I said, is I'm just kind of looking at the shape of my vessel and draping greenery over it to kind of give it a free-form look. And I'd start with one type of green first. And in this particular one, I'm starting with the drapey cedar pine. And the reason I like that is it does have some shape to it, but it also adds a nice light base to layer on top of. But you kind of just want to use something that's going to kind of give it some form, because what you put in on this first layer is going to be kind of holding up the other layers that we add to it, and it's kind of dictating the underlying shape of the arrangement itself. Another wonderful way to arrange with this is you can give it some height. You can go as high as you want to if it's not going to be used on a dining room table, so you're not worried about people's views being blocked. Then you can go as high as you want as well. And the other thing I love about arranging with fresh greens is that the greens themselves make a gorgeous arrangement. You don't even have to add fresh flowers if you don't want to. Different kinds of greens texturally make a stunning arrangement, and then you could tuck in pine cones or beautiful Christmas ornaments to add instead of fresh flowers, or along with fresh flowers. Okay, stop there. Okay, so once you've created the shape of within the initial layer of green, then I added in a little accent of the princess pine to give it a little bit more definition. And then you can see with the juniper, it is a bushier, thicker kind of green. And so I'm gonna place this down lower to add some depth and texture. So you can kind of see how they interplay with each other and complement each other, but add different layers of green and texture. So you want your short, bushy stuff down below and your long, stringier greens kind of creating the shape of your arrangement. So once you have your greens and the shape of kind of what you want to do, then we can start placing flowers, fresh flowers in your arrangement if you want to do flowers. In place of flowers, you could tuck pine cones in here or beautiful Christmas ornaments. But if you're going to use fresh flowers for your celebration or event, now's the time to kind of start placing them in, and then we'll put additional green in to kind of cover up holes when you're done with your flowers. For this arrangement today, I have purchased green hydrangeas, and I love hydrangeas, but the thing that you have to know about hydrangeas is they're not going to be long lasting, and they're kind of hit and miss as far as how they respond to the oasis or your vase in general. So my general rule of thumb when I'm purchasing them at the stores, I touch them first. And if they feel nice and firm, I'll purchase them, even knowing that they might be dead the next day. But you have a better luck with it if they're nice and tight and firm. And then hydrangeas love to be cold and they love moisture. So just know that if you're going to put hydrangeas in your arrangement, really do it for the day of your event or the night before, and then you'll have the most luck with them. And then if they die shortly thereafter, it's okay. You can pluck them out and replace something else there, a pine cone or an additional flower. So I'm using green hydrangeas. I also have some red roses as well. Then I've picked up some ilex, some red ilex berries. And then I'm going to be using pomegranates, fresh pomegranates, and I would get the smaller ones at your grocery store. And the way that I place these in the arrangement is I use a bamboo, just a wood bamboo skewer that you can also buy at the grocery store. And then I put it through the bottom of the pomegranate, and then I will cut the bamboo skewer to size as far as how short I need to tuck it into the arrangement. So you're going to start with kind of your largest things first. I've kind of placed a couple flowers here for placement to kind of show where I want to go with shaping. But general rule of thumb is you start placing your larger things first, and then we'll build around it. So I've tucked in a pomegranate there. Since this is a two-sided arrangement, or if I'm putting it up against a mantle, I could just do all heavy on this side so no one's going to see it. Then I'm going to kind of replicate on the back side what I did on the front, so they complement each other, and if it's for a table, then your guests have pretty views all around. So as you can see with the hydrangeas, I purchased 4 hydrangeas for this oblong arrangement, but with putting them down lower, it looks visually great to kind of group them together. So I put 2 together here, I put 2 together on the other side, and it kind of fluffs that area well too. But visually, it lays out better than just putting 1 here and 1 over there. So really, when you're doing this arrangement, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But if you're kind of timid to start it yourself, kind of do sections together, pairings together of the different textures you're using in regards to flowers, and then it'll just kind of create its own shape for you that way. So I have 2 here. I've tucked a pomegranate in on this side and 1 on the back as well, and I've replicated kind of what you're seeing here on the other side. And now, since we've kind of done our heavier, larger stuff, now we're going to move on to the smaller things to continue to add some texture and other visual effects. If these roses had larger heads on them, I would be kind of placing some heavier ones down below as well. But the ones that I purchased today are a little smaller, and so we're going to use them more as little accent gifts, basically. So as you can see, I'm opening up the rose a little bit because it's a little tight for me, and this rose is a little delicate, so I'm kind of going slowly and gently, but I'm sticking my fingers into petal groups and kind of opening them up a little bit. If it was a stiffer and a stronger rose head, I would place the stem between my hands and really give it a strong swirl, and it would open that up further. But when they're delicate like this, you don't want to do that. It'll just throw petals everywhere. So just very gently with your fingers. And then I'm going to kind of do them in groupings together. little different heights too, but I'm gonna work in odd numbers. Visually, that just looks great on the eye. And again, if you're timid and if this is your first time throwing yourself out there to do a home centerpiece, again, there's no right or wrong way, but it does help to kind of say, oh, my roses are here, and just kind of move them through. On this kind of arrangement, I like to kind of practice the French design way of pavéing, is what we call it. And it's basically like we're making a path. And so if that helps you visually too, you can start your rose path and kind of move through the arrangement like a little path, pavé. And I actually like that effect because it just gives it more of a natural look, as if all of this was just kind of springing up and growing in nature. And I wish you could smell this right now. The juniper just smells amazing along with the princess pine. And that's what you want for your table too, is one of the reasons that it's so fun to do a fresh arrangement, even though so many homes have all of the artificial stuff now because it's just easier to put away and maintain. But give yourself a gift and do at least one fresh arrangement for your home during the holidays, and you won't regret it because you'll have that wonderful pine smell. So I'm just going to continue through the arrangement in my roses, kind of groupings of threes, moving along, and then we'll do some finishing touches. So after you're done kind of placing your little groupings through the arrangement, now we're going to get on to a little bit of whimsy, and that is adding some berries. If you don't have berries, dried twigs from your yard add a wonderful texture to this, and I love the natural color of the twigs as well. So again, get your clippers, go out in the yard, take a nature walk, but this is really kind of one of those arrangements that you can just fill with all kinds of textures and pods and greenery, and really don't have to do it with the flowers at all, and it would be stunning. But I'm going to add, we do have berries, so I am going to add them, and I put some little pockets down below, and you're just kind of trying to add them where there's a break in between your other flowers, so they kind of transition together well. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do these arrangements. Have fun with them. Kind of bring the seasons alive in your home. And then the last thing I do, and I'll continue this around to the other side so it looks uniform, or uniform enough. Like I said, these are not perfect arrangements. They're wild nature, bringing texture and color and scent to your home. But one of the last things I do is I'll walk around my arrangements and I'll see where there might be any little pockets or holes where I could see down to my oasis, or if you use chicken wire and water, I don't want to be able to see through the arrangement. And as you can see, I could continue to add greens to make this even thicker or wilder, or add more roses would be fine too. But the last thing I kind of do is kind of go around and see if there's any pockets, and if there are pockets, I'll take a little additional twigs or greenery, and I'll just kind of, you know, plop them through to just kind of break up holes. And I'm doing this upside down, so I'm not sure how this really is, but I'll just kind of come through like this, kind of like a little puzzle, and I'll go through and see if there's any other little place that I need to tweak or add a little texture to kind of have it blend together. But again, the goal of this is to bring scent into your house if you like the pine scent, and add some fun texture or colors. Again, tucking in gorgeous ornaments would be beautiful in the arrangement. And then to keep it up, just keep it out of natural sunlight so it's not baking in the sun, because as you know, like your fresh garlands or trees, they do dry. If you use the oasis, pour about 1/4 a cup to 1/2 a cup of water in there once or twice a week, just to keep that oasis moist, which is what's keeping everything fresh and hydrated. And then I always take a water bottle and mist these arrangements down probably every other day to keep the greens going. And again, if you're doing the fresh flowers for a specific dinner or celebration, just know these will die off. The greens should last you through New Year's, and it's just as easy as you pulling the flower out and replacing with another, or tucking some more green in there, but you can keep this arrangement really going all month long and add some beauty and texture to your home. So let me know how it goes. I would love to see your arrangements.